right, peace and love, everyone. What's up? Hope you all are enjoying this beautiful Friday and this first ever virtual Detroit Startup Week. Super excited to be back for year two with D.Cipher. And I don't know if any of you missed Wayne's awesome presentation the previous hour. I'll just give you a quick spiel on what D.Cipher is about. So we're a music mastermind collective. We loosely organized ourselves back in 2014, just as a group of artists who were kind of frustrated with the music infrastructure here in the city of Detroit. And instead of complaining about it, we decided to organize ourselves. And so since our formation, we've grown to a fully functioning and thriving nonprofit where we offer professional development opportunities to musicians. We offer paid performance opportunities through our live summer series on the DeQuinder Cut, as well as our Thursday night weekly series at Detroit City Distillery and Eastern Market. We host master classes where we kind of bring in some of the OGs from the Detroit music community, and they kind of drop gems to us young bucks and just share, their experience. So we do a lot. It's all about supporting our Michigan music community here. So I'm happy to be here. My background is I'm a hip hop artist, songwriter, performer, organizer, entrepreneur. So I wear a lot of hats. I'm very excited to jump into this topic. Is let me handle my business. One of my favorite artists as an MC is Jay-Z, and he has this line where he says, "I'm not a businessman, I'm a businessman. Let me handle my business, damn." And I was like, that line is so dope. But I think it speaks to artists, as we're not only creatives, we're not only artists, but we are also businesses. And from my time doing music, and I've been doing music half my life, so that's about 14, 15 years now, actually more like 16 years. And I've learned a lot about pretty much the do's and don'ts of, being on your business, not being on your business, and kind of the pitfalls that comes along with everything. So we'll jump right into it. So during this talk, we're going to talk about how to establish yourself as a business and a brand in music. We're going to talk about the business and artist infrastructure essentials. We're going to talk about some outreach and monetization essentials, and then also expanding your brand beyond music. So first, we'll just dive into the infrastructure. So as a musician, as an artist, as a songwriter, as a DJ, as a producer, as a performer, you are a small business with multiple products. That's the first thing that I kind of want to stress, that we are small businesses with multiple products, meaning that, some small businesses, they're a single member business. It's just, that one person, rocking and rolling, making things happen. Or you can have a small team of people. As artists, it could just be you kind of running the show, but you may also have a manager. You also have, band members that you collaborate with. You may have an entertainment attorney that you work with. You may have a PR or promotions person that you do business with. All of those people who are on your team, they help you run the business. So you are like a small business in essence. And then we all have multiple products. You can look at each song like a product. You can look at each piece of content that you put out as a product, whether it's a song or a video or album or a mixtape. If it's a live show, that's a product. If you are selling merch, those are multiple products. And so think of yourself as a small business with multiple products. You're also a brand with a brand identity, meaning, if you think of Starbucks, right? Or if you think of McDonald's, you think of what they're automatically associated with. If you think of Apple, you think of, you know, very expensive technology that usually has like a clean design, or it's catered towards creatives. So, you know, you have those kind of brand associations, but also, you know, brand identity. You know, Beyonce has a very strong brand identity. You go to a Beyonce concert, there's a certain level of performance and caliber that you're expecting. A brand identity can also be, you know, your personality, what your music sounds like, the aesthetic of your social media and website platforms, the way you dress when you're on and off stage. You know, think of your brand identity as all of the things that are associated with who you are, what you represent, what you sound like. You know, Prince is a perfect example of someone who had a strong brand identity. You know, single-handedly, the color purple is associated with Prince because he incorporated that in a lot of his work, in his wardrobes. The same with artists like Janelle Monáe, who always, you know, kind of rocks a black and white aesthetic. So, you know, think about those things as we kind of move through the presentation. You are a small business with multiple products, and you are a brand with a brand identity. So some of the things that you want to kind of start, these are like your basic foundational elements that you need to have as an artist who is, you know, putting themselves out in the public market space, whether that's putting music up to be streamed or doing live performances or, you know, virtual shows, whatever you're doing. If you're in the public market space and you want to make money at your craft, these are some of the things that you absolutely should have. So one is you want to set up an LLC. For those of you who aren't familiar with the LLC, a LLC is a limited liability company. It's a type of business structure. So you have like a sole proprietorship, which is usually a business with one person. An LLC is usually a small business, or it can be a single member LLC. And then you have like your big corporations, right? So LLC is really good for artists because, like I said, you can have just you as the sole member of your LLC, but it protects you from, you know, say if you get sued or something like that. Instead of, you know, if you didn't have a business and if someone sued you for, I don't know, you tried to jump off stage and you knocked somebody upside the head like Miguel did at the Grammys and somebody tried to sue him. If you didn't have a LLC structure set up, somebody could sue you for your personal assets. A LLC protects you from that. So then it's just kind of focusing on your business assets. Also, what's really, really important is as musicians, we have a lot of expenses, whether that's paying for studio time, whether that's buying new gear, whether that's gas to and from shows or rehearsals, whether that's you bought a new outfit for a show. All of those expenses can be written off as a business expense under a LLC entity, and it's really easy to do in the state of Michigan. It only costs $50, and you just go to michigan.gov /LARA, and that's the kind of licensing and regulatory affairs office. So it's michigan.gov /LARA, LARA, and you can just follow the kind of the prompts to go to the corporations division, and you can form a business for $50 in the state of Michigan. Once you set up your business entity, you will get what you call an articles of incorporation. And that's pretty much just like a sheet that the state of Michigan will send you that shows, you know, your business name, when you formed it, all of those things. You then can take that articles of incorporation and you can use that to open up a bank account. Something you also need to open up a bank account as a business is you need an EIN, an employment identification number. And think of that as a social security number for your business. And so those are free. All you have to do is just go to the IRS website, irs.gov. You hit file, you hit small business, and you apply for an EIN. And again, it's free. Once you do that, you can take your articles of incorporation that you received when you formed your LLC. You can take your EIN, you can go to any bank, you can open up a bank account. And there's also a lot of options now, whether it's a traditional bank, Chase, Bank of America, Huntington Bank, or any credit union, but there's also a lot of really great small business banking solutions online. One of the ones that I really, really like is a bank called Azlo, AZLO, because they don't charge you any monthly fees. It's really, really, really helpful. And I'll actually put all of these in the chat. I'm actually going to see if I can. I don't think I can have access to the chat right now because I'm sharing my screen, but I will get you the information, and it'll also be, all of this will be on D.Cipher's website. Oh, perfect. Thank you so much, Ryan. So it's right? AZLO. And again, they're a really good small business bank account. They're all online, and their ATMs, a lot of the ATMs in like a CVS and things like that, you can use to withdraw money from your account, but they don't charge any monthly fees for checking accounts, which is awesome. So Azlo is a great way, but again, any bank account, you want to be able to separate your music business money from your personal expenses. And also another good thing about Azlo is you can send invoices from their platform as well. So if somebody books you for a show and they request an invoice, you can do it right from your bank and get that money directly deposited into your account. So check them out. Another suggestion is get a Square for your point of sale. So if you're selling merch at live shows, you want to make sure that you sign up for Square. That's squareup.com, I think is their website. And you can kind of build out your store, set, your price points for your merch. And that way, when you're at a show or however, you're selling your merch, if someone says, oh man, I can't buy, that shirt because I don't have $20 in cash. Well, you can accept credit card payments right at your merch table. So it's always good to have a Square Up. So that's kind of like your business. Is you want to have your business entity, you want to have a bank account, and you want to have a way to be able to collect payments wherever you're selling your product in person. On the creative side, you're making music, you're making beats, you're writing songs for people, you are, gigging, and you want to get your music up on all of the streaming platforms. And you also want to be able to collect royalties from your music. This is kind of getting into how we monetize our product. So the first thing that you want to do if you are making music, whether it's songs, whether it's beats, you want to register with a PRO. I know Wayne talked about this in his previous chat. The two major ones are ASCAP or BMI, and they have different price points. I believe BMI is free and ASCAP is, I think like $100 or $50 for if you want to sign up as a writer, and $50 if you want to sign up as a publisher. So a PRO, pretty much they collect royalties on behalf of songwriters and publishers. So whenever your song is played or performed publicly, they're keeping track of those royalties. So that's the songwriter and publishers. those are the people who are receiving royalties from that. And most of us, especially here locally, most of us, we write our own material, and we also technically are our own publishers as well. So those are kind of two different ways that you can, make money from your work. You also want to register with the organization called Sound Exchange. Sound Exchange pays the artist and your label. And again, if you're an independent artist, you are your own label as well. And Sound Exchange collects royalties from digital. So all of your streaming platforms, Sound Exchange, they track those royalties, and make sure you get those royalties as well. Something else that you also want to do is you want to set up online distribution. Now, this is how you're able to get your music on Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, all of those kind of platforms. And there's a ton of online distributors. Some of the best ones are CD Baby, which has been around the longest. You have TuneCore, which is great. Symphonic Distribution is great. And United Masters is the one that I personally use for my music. All of these have different price points. Some of them are free to set up, and they just take a percentage from your what you make. I believe United Masters takes like 10%, but it's free to sign up. TuneCore, they don't take any percentage from what you make, but it's like $50. I think it's like the average to sign up. So you just have to check their websites and see what their price points are. But I want to show you guys quickly a little bit of the interface of United Masters. So what makes them great and why I highly recommend them is because this is a screenshot of their app that I have on my phone. So I can literally upload music through to their site to be distributed, all over the place through my phone. And you just click new release and you follow the prompts, upload your music, upload your artwork, put in all of the appropriate credits, and you set your release date and you're good to go. They also track your metrics. So like these are screenshots of streams, and you can kind of toggle between like how many streams you did that week or that month. They also track all of your followers and where they're coming from. They also track your audience. And they break it up by gender and age, which I think is really helpful. And then they also track where your followers are coming from geographically, which is really helpful if you are looking to set up a tour or anything like that, or just do more shows. They're a really good platform, and I highly recommend them. So you have your platform set up, you have your business set up, you're already, distributing your music. What I want to talk about next is kind of how do you scale that up, right? In the music business is very interesting, is that the way that we promote our business, our brand is also the way that we make money. So most traditional businesses, they have promotional expenses where they're just putting out stuff in hopes to, get people to come into their store, getting people to buy their product. They may not make any money on those promotions. For us as musicians, we actually make money on our promotions. So you may put out a song for streaming to get people excited to buy your full-length album in the future. Or you may put up a album and you use that album as a way to get people to buy some of your t-shirts or to come to a show. So we're a unique business in that. And because of that, it's important that we're always on our game with making sure that we're, taking the appropriate needs to outreach and get our name out there. it's been countless times as D.Cipher, like we book artists, and when we book an artist, we may want to put up a link to their website and they don't have a website, or they have several different social media accounts all under different names and different profile pictures. So, take some time, and now it's the perfect time while things are slowing down. We're not really doing a lot of live performances. A lot of us artists are at home, kind of, trying to, refocus and re-strategize, and plan for the future. Now's the perfect time to focus on setting up a proper website, making sure our social media pages are clean and clear, and that they link back to our website. It's always a good idea. Squarespace and Bandzoogle are some of the best platforms for artists to be able to create your own website. You don't need to know how to code or any of that stuff. It's pretty straightforward templates where you can just kind of plug in pictures and text, and you have a really clean and professional website. That's Squarespace is a website that I personally use. D.Cipher's website is a Squarespace site and looks really clean and professional. Something else that is also worthwhile to think about is tapping into creating a text community to own and manage your customer data. And so what I mean by that is that, you may have 50,000 followers on Instagram, right? But what if Instagram decides to shut down? You lose all of that, all of that data. All the people who liked your page, who, sent you messages, you in essence lose that. A lot of people, especially artists, kind of some of the more mainstream artists, and I've seen also more independent artists do this as well, is there's now platforms like Superphone, which is a platform by this musician named Ryan Leslie. And you can literally set up your own, kind of like a Google number, if you think about it that way, but it's more so like a customer data management platform. So you can send out your number to people, hey, text me at this number. They text you, and what that does is it saves that person's number into your phone book on that platform, and you can tag different people. So say if you were, at the African World Fest and you did a show, and you gave out your number, and 50 people, reached out to you, they sent you a text message, and you can tag those 50 people as Detroit African World Fest, so you can know where you met them at, or you can tag people if they have been to multiple shows of yours and they're kind of a super fan. You can tag them as a super fan, and it's a good way to really organize your contacts and your fan base, and another way to stay in contact with people beyond social media. I've seen, like Diddy, a lot of artists, I think DJ Khaled is doing it. Shout out to Wayne, because I know for sure he has a Superphone as well. I just signed up for a Superphone, so that's something that I'm going to be doing in the future as well. And it's just, like I said, a good way to kind of tap into your community in a more intimate way and deepen those relationships, so you can build that fan base and make more money from your business. And then it's also a great way too to organize people who you meet that may say, hey, I'm a journalist, or hey, I want to book you for a show. So just it's a great way to organize the people that you run into contact with as an artist. Something else that you definitely want to do as an artist is you want to play live. That's it's a reason why we see so many bands and some of our favorite artists tour for years, because it's is always kind of a bread and butter of how an artist makes money. So play live as much as you can. Now that live shows aren't happening, you can do virtual shows. In our next session, that's going to be led by Stacey J, will tap more into that. Something else to think about is to offer subscriptions where, you know, people pay a monthly fee and they get exclusive things from you, whether it's, you know, they get first release to new music, or they get music that is only released for them that they have access to. Um, so think of, you know, different things like that, and Patreon and Bandcamp, and even Twitch, which is a live streaming platform. They offer subscriptions as well. You also want to have merch. Make sure you have merch, whether it's free wristbands or a t-shirt or whatever, when you're performing live, but also that can live on your website, because people want to be able to support you. Especially, you know, if you're constantly building a relationship and reaching out to your fan base, you want to do that. And then something else that you want to consider is licensing and placement. So getting your music placed in things like commercials or in TV or film. Detroit is blessed. We have actually two organizations that work with Detroit-based artists to get their songs placed, and that's Assemble Sound and Verse and Hook. So shout out to them. But they are Detroit-based placement agencies. I've actually worked with them and have had a few songs placed. So, and that's, you know, it's nice when you get a check that you weren't expecting because somebody decided to use your song in a commercial. And then they're both non-exclusive as well. So meaning you can work with them and also work with other entities. And then also create for others. If you're a songwriter, you know, and if you know, have a friend who has a great voice, but they may not be able to write songs, you know, reach out to them. Hey, can I write a song for you? If you're a producer, you know, make sure you're shopping around your beats to local artists who are looking for music to write to or sing to or rap to. You know, if you're a DJ, create mixes that can live on other people's playlists. And then just, you know, also continue to search for opportunities that connect or relate to you as an artist. Which is, you know, kind of my closing point is expanding your brand. Like music now is kind of like your hook, it's your marketing. There's much more to you as an artist other than just your music. And so part about the important thing about expanding your brand is that it opens up more opportunity for you to get in front of more people. It opens up more opportunities for you to be able to monetize your music. And then it also kind of comes back to you where it also helps you be able to expand and build on your music. Somebody who's done this really well that we all, you know and admire is Rihanna, right? She started off as music, and now she's opened it up where, you know, she's completely dominating the beauty industry with her makeup line and her, you know, lingerie line and her, you know, upscale fashion line. So think of those other areas of interest that you're passionate about or that you have knowledge of that you can tap into that still relates to you as an artist. Another example is Dr. Dre, right? Everyone respects Dr. Dre for his ear for music, for the way he's able to fine tune when he mixes and masters and produces. And so he leveraged that into headphones, right? And so he wanted to be able to create headphones that have the same quality to him as when he is mixing a song. That's genius. And that's an area of expertise and passion that he has. And so use your music as a platform to build on. If you're interested in, you know, a certain social justice initiative, use your music to be able to speak to that. And use those issues also to be able to speak back and point back to you as an artist, whether that you started an initiative based on one of your songs that, you know, speaks to that issue. Or if you're, you know, interested in, I don't know, you're interested in animals or whatever, find those ways that connect who you are, your music, your personality, into things that you can really just build your brand on. We see that with, artists all the time, whether that's, Pharrell, who's using his platform to speak to humanitarian issues, and he, taps into his deal with Adidas, and he makes, has different sneakers with Adidas that have, humanitarian issues on them, like Human Made, I think is one of his shoes. Or you have, you have like people like Jay-Z, who he's always talked about, being a boss and ownership in his music, and he's leveraged that to be able to have multiple businesses, whether it's a club or, a brand of liquor, or, partnerships with other organizations. You always want to think about, who you are outside of music that make you interesting or unique, that you're passionate about, and how can you point those things back to your music. And so, that's really the bulk of it. As artists, we have to think of ourselves as a business. We have to always be thinking about how to connect our music and intersect our music into other areas, because, there's multiple bags out here. Performing, streaming, are just, two main ways, but they're not, they can't be the bread and butter always. And I think, this pandemic has shown us that we have to start getting creative and figure out other ways to market ourselves, to continue to connect to our fan base, and, monetize our work, because we want to be able to be sustainable and continue to do this long term and be able to feed our families, and, build, a career and legacy off of what we love to do, and that's music. So that's my presentation. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm leaving my email, neek@dcipher.org. Make sure you also check us out at dcipher.org/collab if you want to tap into what we're doing. And then also, if you just want to check out some of the things that I'm doing as an artist, because a lot of this I incorporate into my business as an artist. I have multiple hustles. Like, if you know me personally, I have multiple hustles, but we all should, because that's the new economy we're living in. So I guess we'll open it up for questions.
Oh, yes. Thank you so much, Dominique, for the insight and the wonderful presentation. And we do have
no problem.
We do have some questions for you. So
yes,
first from Cree. Where's Cree's question? She asks, can you please, she's a brand new artist, and she doesn't have any tour dates or music videos as content quite yet. So she asked, can you explain what a new and upcoming artist should include on their website?
Yeah, so if you are a new artist, something that you should do is write your bio. And even if you haven't done any shows or put out any music yet, incorporate some of those things in your bio of, like, who are some of your influences? Who or what do you sound like? A little bit about your background, where you come from, why you decided to get into music. If you have, a unique artist name, maybe talk about what's the meaning behind your name. What are some of your passions as an artist? What are kind of the big picture vision for yourself as an artist? So a bio is really, really great. And Wayne touched on that in our previous workshop. And I know some of his information will live on the D.Cipher website too, as far as like a bio and an elevator pitch, and kind of thinking about how would you quickly market yourself to someone if they said, hey, Cree, I want to book you for a show. Tell me who you sound like. And you'll be able to have an answer like, oh yeah, I sound like this and this person, and I have my own touch of this. That can go a long way. I've been able to get shows off the strength of just that when I was starting off. Also, it's always helpful to have a photo, whether it's some type of headshot or just a good photo where people can kind of see your face and what you look like. That goes a long way too, especially as you start booking shows, because people are going to ask you for a picture to use in the promotion of that show. So, those are some key things. And also, I would even suggest maybe, record yourself singing or playing or whatever it is that you do. Maybe upload 1 or 2 YouTube videos so people can get a taste, even if it's not even anything original.
All right. So we've got questions coming in here.
Yes, keep them coming.
Zoe is looking for just the names of local Detroit companies that provide the licensing opportunities.
Yes, so Assemble Sound is one. Assemble Sound, they're based in Corktown. And they're really great people. I use them for my licensing. So they have my entire catalog of music, and they shop it out to their network of film companies, TV shows, commercials, different organizations. And then Verse and Hook is another licensing company that helps local artists get their music placed. Verse and Hook.
All right, Assemble Sound and Verse and Hook.
Yep.
Perfect. All right. So Cree says that she's a founder, or Cree, or I'm sorry, I don't know if Cree is a she, but Cree is the founder of a tech company that is still establishing its brand. They are going to launch in December. So can Cree use the social media to promote the business and music, or does it make her, Cree, appear less focused or serious? And if so, how does Cree navigate that?
Yeah, so I don't think it makes you look less focused or serious at all. I think it's important as artists that we're showing that, hey, we're just more than just our music, because it makes you more interesting. It makes people want to say, oh, you also started a tech company? Oh, that's amazing. How does that, work together? So it can only help. There's a number of artists who've actually kind of married both tech and music. Off the top of my head, one artist who completely left music, surprisingly, to jump into tech was Chameleonaire. Do y'all remember him? He was Riding Dirty. Yeah. So he's completely he's a tech mogul now. And you have, a lot of, actually, as a local Detroiter, his name was Eric, I think. And he was a local rapper, and he would host freestyle ciphers throughout the city. And he actually took that model and made it into a tech company and launched that into a bigger tech company. And so I think it can only help. And yes, you should absolutely promote both your music and your tech company together, and also do it separately as well. The more eyes you have on you, the better.
All right. So Zoe Patterson is the person who asked about the licensing opportunities, and Zoe happens to be a 15-year-old DJ with an active business and income. However, Zoe's following has been based on the mother's network, her social, and word of mouth. So the question is, do you have any suggestions for marketing companies who can help with branding and website development in the near future?
Marketing companies that can help with brand development and websites in the future. I would say if you have a budget, so marketing companies a lot of times, and web developers, they can charge a nice penny. One designer that I personally worked with for my personal music, as well as as well as D.Cipher, who's done our branding, is Jocelyn Weidman. That's JocelynWeidman. But she is an awesome, phenomenal graphic designer who's very affordable. I will also suggest, if you're 15, that means you have probably a lot of friends around your age who may be interested in design, and they may know how to use Adobe Photoshop and InDesign, or even if you know how to use some of those things yourself. There's a lot of opportunity really to like just do things yourself until you are able to have a budget to be able to pay someone to do that. And then, like Squarespace and Bandzoogle, shout out to them, but they are two really good online platforms that you just pay a monthly fee, like 16 to like $25 a month, and you can build your own website yourself. I don't know how to code. I have no interest in learning how to code. And, I was able to do my website myself, and it looks good.
All right. Well, it looks like everyone is happy with your answers. They feel like they've gotten their questions answered. We've got about 3 minutes until we wrap up and go to DJ Stacey J.
Yes.
His next session. That next session talks about the art of live streaming. So,
yes.
Dominique, is there anything else you want to add?
No, if there's no more questions, I think I am good. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and make sure you check out Stacey J's session coming up next. It's really important as we navigate this pandemic, and everything is kind of moving to the virtual world anyway right now until things open back up and kind of go back to somewhat of a normal way of doing things. And then after that, Sophia E., who's another D.Cipher member, who's going to talk about taking care of your mental health and wellness. So yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in, and peace and blessings. Get on your business.
Looks like folks are asking for your Instagram. Can you drop your Instagram for us?
Yeah, at Neek Love Rhodes. It's actually on, I don't know if y'all can still see this, my screen, but NIQUELOVERHODES, Neek Love Rhodes. And also Neek at D.Cipher, DCIPHER.org. It's my email. And make sure you go to decipher.org/collab to sign up on our mailing list.
Boom. All right. Well, I thank you everyone for joining. I hope to see you at the next session that is all about live streaming with DJ Stacey J. And Dominique, Thank you once again for this awesome presentation. It looks like everyone is pretty happy, so I appreciate you.
Awesome. Appreciate y'all.